do this.
Mike said we're good.
Oh, wait,
Oh, that's me.
I need some
Sorry.
scrap paper to write on.
Here.
Oh,
Just take
Here,
it.
do you want some? I got some.
I want to
got-
get
I got
going.
some.
Joe, we're ready. We're rolling.
Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1608, August 28, 2025. 94 degrees on this day at the fair in 1899 and again in 1955, and as chilly as 42 degrees on this day at the fair in 1934. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
If I haven't already made it clear, I'll make it clear now that I'm totally in favor of the idea that this crackpot, lunatic, evil bastard should not have been allowed to buy any guns. It's beyond my comprehension. He apparently purchased them in a pawn shop. But now I'm going to work backwards. Yesterday we said we're broken, meaning society. Okay, why are we? Well, there's decline of moral and ethical integrity. Okay, why is there that decline? And I think what it might boil down to, this is from the service road of life, meandering. I believe we've normalized lunacy. I believe that I blame it on the mystery. We have had judgmentalism drilled out of our brains. We're not supposed to be judgmental. We're supposed to accept anything anybody wants to do. If the kid stands on his head all day in math class, we're supposed to say, I guess that's what he does.
Somebody wants to marry a bridge.
Yeah, no, I'm kicking his ass and say, sit down and learn like everybody else.
Okay.
But we don't do that anymore. And I blame the mystery. The mystery has been thoroughly successful in drumming judgment out of us. I can't get up tomorrow and say I'm a dentist. And I can't ask my wife to drive me to the dental licensing bureau and vouch for me to say, yes, he's a dentist. He wants to be a dentist. He feels that he is a dentist, and therefore he should be a dentist. I can't do that. So I don't know why you get up in the morning and say, I'm a girl. My answer would be, no, you're not. But the Mysterian answer is, we must acknowledge that feeling and that wish and that emotion. And then parents go and sign off on the ability to change.
There used to be years and years of counseling before anything would happen.
Offsite correspondent Downing has a good report, good email. We never use the word cult anymore. Remember, cults used to be a big deal.
Yep.
In recent years, Downing writes, he's found himself thinking about how cults are still here. And what happened in Minneapolis Wednesday shows just what he's talking about. The factors that made vulnerable teens easy picking for cults have not gone away. A feeling of not fitting in, not knowing who you really are, rejecting the beliefs of your parents, it's common to adolescents. So where are the cults? They're hiding in plain sight, and they're now celebrated and supported by the mainstream. I would say they're celebrated and supported by mayors and city councils, because I'm going to try to keep this talk to our region, even though I think this is a national societal problem. And instead of fearing that their child will join a cult, some parents now sign the paperwork for their induction.
At very early ages.
So what are rational, moral, and ethic people supposed to do, given, for the sake of argument, that I insist that mental illness has been mainstreamed? It's been sanctioned.
So much so, Joe, that you can't even call anything into question. You can't, like you said, you can't raise your hand and go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Stop.
So the task that faces most of us is, how do we protect ourselves from crackpots? There's got to be a way that this evil fellow who shot up Annunciation, there's got to be a way to prevent him from getting a gun. And this is going to require the efforts of law-abiding gun owners, moral and ethical people. The vast majority of gun owners are lawful, moral, and ethical people. And they can't give me this BS about, out of my dead hands, you're going to take my gun away. I'm not talking about taking your gun away. I'm talking about there has to be a means to prevent Robin Westmoreland, or whatever the hell his name was, Westman, from buying a gun. Apparently he got them in a pawn shop. Now, what are we going to do about that? He can't have a gun.
But
He cannot have a gun. Now, how are we going to create the situation in which we're ready to identify again mental illness instead of pretending it's something else? And what do we do for the clerk at the pawn shop to prevent the clerk at the pawn shop from selling this idiot a gun? What do we do? I don't trust the government to come up with the answer. This government in Minnesota couldn't bake a cake. They've rationalized and normalized theft. They're a transgender sanctuary state where you have any trouble where you are getting an abortion, you run to Minnesota. We'll take care of it. We can't even allow an illegal immigrant to be called illegal. Everything that used to mean something no longer means anything because we have to accept everything. We have to accept everything. I don't accept this idiot buying a gun or owning a gun. And I hold the people closest to him accountable.
In the case of this guy, he had to pass an ATF rigorous background check
It wasn't rigorous enough, apparently.
to purchase those two handguns.
If I saw this fruitcake coming in, I've said this before on the show, one of the great methods of restricting him from getting a gun would go right to the clerk level, right to the guy behind the counter. But he's saving up to buy a new snowmobile.
Well,
he wants to sell a gun.
The final stopgap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I see this fruitcake coming in the store. I'm going to say, get the hell out of here. I'm not selling you a gun.
What if he's acting normal? And what if his background
I know
is
I'm going to
clean?
be judgmental, and I'm going to determine it. I'm sorry. I'm going to be judgmental.
Yeah,
I'm going to say, no, you're not getting a gun. I don't like the way you look. I don't like the way you stand. I don't like the way you talk.
But you're opening a can of worms there.
Of course I am.
It's unrealistic to do that because the can of worms you're opening is, you know what I'm saying.
What are the can of worms?
Well, the can of worms is you could say you don't like the way anybody looks.
Oh, okay.
If you're
that
the
can.
clerk.
Oh, that can of worms.
Oh,
yeah.
that can of
yeah.
worms.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't like the way Kenny looks. Look at that beard. What the hell? I'm not selling him a
No,
gun.
I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that
Just kidding, Kenny.
because moral and ethical society must now accommodate the mainstreaming of lunacy, then it falls on the shoulders of moral and ethical society to come up with a way to make sure lunacy doesn't own weapons. I don't know what that answer is. But that's the answer. We are in danger. Moral and ethical people are in danger because we have elected a political class, city councils and mayors in both cities, that are mainstreaming lunacy. They're mainstreaming it. We praised Fry yesterday for his initial remarks. And I continue to believe, of all the things he said yesterday, they were the most heartfelt. They were real, they were instantaneous, and they were spontaneous. As the day went on, he fell back into his political persona, which said, let's protect our trans community. Let's worry about we don't want to offend trans people. I don't give a bleep if they're offended. We've mainstreamed obscenity. Now, there were plenty of people who saw this kid growing up who thought he was a lunatic. They didn't say anything. Why? We've had it drummed out of us.
Can't judge.
What his girl classmate was interviewed.
Saw her.
I
believe she was a Hispanic girl.
Yeah, on the 5 this morning. And what she said about him was shocking. He should have been institutionalized a long time ago.
Now you're touching on something else, which is completely accurate. In fact, the girl you're citing, I also saw her on the news, and she had very, very deep thinking about this.
Yeah.
She said he was evil.
Yep.
She said this is satanic.
Yep.
She used the word satanic. She was a very insightful young woman, but she didn't do anything. She's had judgmentalism drummed out of her. Now, how could it have been prevented that this lunatic wandered into a pawn shop and loaded up on weapons? He shouldn't have been allowed to be on the street to walk into a pawn shop. He should have been institutionalized.
How do you do that, though?
Well, there were enough signals. There were enough signals to institutionalize this guy.
But like John made the point, and I'm not fighting you, I agree with you, but I think Matthew's insane. You know what I mean? And you okay?
Yeah, I was itching my nose.
He's agreeing.
No, I have nothing to say. You're right.
Yeah. But somewhere in there, we need to find an answer. But you're right. The ATF should have known about this guy beforehand. But again, now we're getting into civil rights and
Okay, but what about parents? What about mom and dad?
Well, they failed miserably, and I'm sorry for them. I'm sure there was plenty of torment in this situation, but they failed. They failed.
But did they
Before
know
and-
he's building an arsenal, or did he keep? We don't know
He
if he
didn't
kept
live
it.
at home.
We don't know.
We face a political city council people in both cities who have normalized lunacy.
Don't forget senators, representatives, and the guy, the governor.
They've all normalized lunacy. That is part of the mystery. Everybody is just as valuable and valid as everyone else. We're even doing it with cultures. We bring people to this country, and the first thing we do is encourage them to celebrate only their own culture. I'm not celebrating a culture where you get to kill your sister because she dated the wrong guy. That's not a good culture. I'm not celebrating a culture where we shouldn't charge anybody with rape because that's what they do at home. Go bleep yourself. This country has let it go too far. We are broken. And now I don't know how to put this horse back in the barn, but we have normalized so much lunacy that the task now facing people who are moral and ethical stewards of what's left of society, we have to figure out how to prevent lunatics from having guns. And I don't know the answer.
When you talk about acceptance, I'm at KSTP.com, and I don't want to take them to task. But in the here's what else 5 Eyewitness News has learned so far, Minneapolis police say she had a rifle.
That's not a she.
She used to fire.
It's a he.
She was in her early 20s.
Oh, I get you. All right.
I mean that's what they're saying in there.
That pretty much drives Joe's point home.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this
It's
is acceptance.
normalized.
That's a recent change because yesterday all the outlets referred to him as a he. And now today we're seeing
That's case in point, right?
now we're seeing she.
I cannot pretend to understand the struggle of a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old going to his or her mother and say, I'm not a girl. But because my mother would have said, yes, you are.
Go out and play.
And then we would have worked at it from there. But we've normalized it now. We've made it okay to be whatever you would. And don't tell me that this transformation does not result in emotional and mental trauma. It must. It's such a sea change in the existence of the human condition that how could this possibly not result? Now, if you're Caitlyn Jenner and you want to wait till you're 70 to do it, you've seen a lot of life and you know a lot of stuff. If you want to give it a shot, go ahead. But this youth crap, forget it.
Even 21, Joe. Even adulthood. What I like, I might not agree with everything you're saying, but I like the fact that you're giving this deep thought. And the problem we're seeing since yesterday afternoon through right now is pundits, commentators, show hosts, and politicians making the gun argument like we need to get rid of guns. If you're making that argument, you are not a deep thinker, and you're just saying that to make yourself feel better. No. You're not capable of deep thought. You need to go deeper on this subject and figure out how these guns got into the hands of these kind of people. That's where we start, because you are never in this country, never, ever, ever going to get rid of firearms. It'll never happen.
And the deeper thought is the why. Why are we broken? Why did this fellow should not have been near a gun? Never. And so all the things that are broken led up to him owning the guns. The normalization of his transformation, the putting up with his screeds that he wrote in a notebook, his standing up in school saying, Hitler, Hitler, everything else he did, all of it. What did people do? They accepted it.
Yeah.
The normalization of lunacy is a function of the mystery. Now, the irony is one solution, of course, would be the complete ban on guns, which does nothing except appease the people who've sanctioned lunacy.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
It just sanctions the people who have allowed this to happen in the first place.
And as soon as you do that, you've turned a lot of the United States, I wish I had the number, into criminals. Guys like me, all of a sudden I'm a criminal.
But all legal, moral, and ethical gun owners have to help us, G-Ellers. We figured everything else out in the garage. Let's figure this out. How do you prevent that nutcase from getting his hands on a gun? How? There's got to be a way. My God, you can't get a colonoscopy test without first making the appointment and then waiting a month and then having to go to your doctor to first get a physical so that you can then go get the colonoscopy. That's a bad analogy.
Well, it is that, but there's a lot to do to prepare.
You're very colon-focused today for some reason.
But how do you figure out who's mentally unstable enough?
That's the challenge.
I was just looking up
Yeah.
stats. From 1966 to 2019, 77% of mass shooters had legally purchased guns. How do you figure out which of that 77%? Is there somebody with each of those people who can go, this person's nuts? You know what I mean? How do you identify that? And then you're closer to solving it, I would hope.
You guys, sounds like you guys want expanded background checks.
I don't know what I want. I just don't want him to have a gun.
You've read enough, and I don't know if it's true, but you've read enough spy novels to know that if you're going to get into the CIA and work for the CIA, there's a lengthy background check. They're talking to family, friends, going way back. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Something like that.
Okay.
Expanded.
Maybe
Instead of just looking at a person's record.
But what kind of stipulations would you have? Have you ever had crazy thoughts?
Let me add something. I apply this same belief that we've legitimized lunacy by the gangbangers who shoot each other. Because what have we done? We've legitimized crime. Hell, this state has legitimized thievery. You can go into Walgreens now and steal cosmetics, and the clerks have been trained not to deal with you. Let you go. We have legitimized destruction. We have legitimized ruinous behavior. Ruinous behavior. Can't call that immigrant illegal. Oh, well, no, he deserves to be here.
Plus,
as much
give
as
him a
anybody.
license.
Well, then be here legally. Maybe the American experiment can figure this out. They got the brains. Right now, they're focused on education because we've legitimized educational failure. We've tried money. That doesn't work. We've tried top-heavy administrations. That doesn't work. The center of the American experiment is offering the idea of how about $7,000 for kids. Let parents control $7,000 per child per year, and then let the parents choose, not walls. Let the parents choose the best education for their kids. Public, private, charter, homeschool, whatever works that's better than the state's educational system. Because you want to know on a county, you want to know why? Mm-hmm. Less than half of Minnesota students are meeting grade level benchmarks. Half. Less than half. That's statewide, not just in the urban area. Learn more at 7kforkids.com or americanexperiment.org.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Everything sounds different in the studio.
Sounds better, doesn't it?
Sounds way better, Joe. You know what day it is?
Thursday.
Positive Thursday. And always, as always, it's always brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They're right there in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. Mike Schoonover took the day off, finally, for once. And I say that because I spent about 20 minutes perusing the web looking for positive reviews for Schoonover.
I can give you one.
Yeah, I have to report the web, the internet's chock-a-block with positive reviews. But one of them I read was a guy saying Mike himself called a customer on a Saturday morning.
Come on.
To talk about the guy's car. That's why Mike has the day off. Both of you guys, I think you two have used Schoonover more than I have.
We have kept the lights on in my family at Schoonover for the next 15 years. And you know what? Gabe had private stuff done, and he also had to deal with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
He didn't deal with the insurance companies.
Not at all.
Schoonover took care of everything and fought for him to get more off because they know what they can do. So it was fabulous.
My across the street neighbor had the big dent in his new car. I hectored him for a month. Get to Schoonovers and take care of it. We went Wednesday, dropped the car off. He got the best price, the best estimate. The car will be fine. There's no other doubt about it.
They're the best in the business. We've had G-Ellers come to Schoonover from as far away as Duluth. Oh, hell, the gal from Upper Michigan came into town to cat sit her daughter's kitty or something.
Okay.
And while she was in town, she had Schoonover redo the brakes on her pickup truck. That's how good Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care is. They've been at it since 1938. They are the official body shop of GL. And check out the internets. Always rated as one of the top shops in the metro. We're talking SchoonoverBodyWorks.com.
Pre-mystery, getting back to Downing's thoughts, What did people do when they believed their child had drifted off and joined a cult? What did people do? They intervened. They tried to talk sense into the kid. They didn't buy it. They didn't accept it. It wasn't normalcy. It wasn't mainstreamed. They tried to go fetch the kid from the hippie compound.
Oh, my God. You just triggered something. I wish I knew her name. There's a famous actress whose son or daughter started getting mixed up with Charlie Manson. Maybe John
it was the
remembers it?
woman who was had the detective show. She was a big woman with short, kind of blonde, gray hair. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know, but she grabbed
moved
her
to
kid.
Europe.
She moved all off the country. That's what we're missing in this.
Murder, She Wrote.
Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury.
Oh, who was something else as a
Well,
youngster.
Va va voom.
Well, Neil, let's not go there.
Lord.
25. I think she took the kid and moved to Europe, Ireland or England.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's what we need.
But that's what people used to do because the lunacy. Today, Manson would be a cult hero.
Boy.
Well,
There's nothing wrong with living like Charles Manson.
look at what they did with the college shooter. The good-looking guy. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute.
Oh, look at that. You're right. No, what about this crackpot that shot the United Health guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
We can't judge. You can't judge. But there's got to be a way to keep that crackpot from owning a gun.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Okay, here's why it's tough. The train has so far left the station we can't see it anymore. So that's left us all behind in the village. Here we are. We don't intend to shoot anybody. We try to maintain some moral and ethical clarity in our lives. We fulfill the civil contract. And you're in danger walking down the street because a lunatic who's been mainstreamed could very well have a gun. We don't know what to do about that. We have to fix that. That GL has to come up with an answer for that.
It's a privilege, not a right, which we always say about driving.
And it's the same thing with gangbangers shooting each other. They're shooting each other because more or less we've normalized crime. We've said, oh, they're just oppressed and they're victimized, and it's been a result of a systemic racial oppressive upbringing, and they shouldn't be punished for that. BS. The faster morality gets out of there, the better. We have lost it, folks. We're broken. We have let too much be normalized.
We can't get it back.
That's why we have to figure out how to protect ourselves and keep these people from owning guns. I don't know the answer.
You'll never keep the firearms out of the hands of criminals, ever.
Well, and like Kenny said, you're going to get major pushback from
Criminals usually just use them to commit crimes. I'm talking about nutcases.
Yeah.
You go rob a bank, and you don't shoot anybody, that's one thing. But if you own an arsenal and then you write diaries about it and you express affection for the ammunition and your gibberish indicates you're completely insane, somebody didn't catch that? Somebody didn't catch that? Well, nobody. It's certainly not on the same level as losing 2 children yesterday. But nobody caught the theft of $1 billion from the state. Nobody
because they
caught
didn't want
that
to offend.
because you bought the idea that this idiot was feeding 5,000 kids at a corner store the size of your bathroom. You bought that? We are so broken that I don't know how in the hell we're going to fix it. I would say that short of anything else, the background checks must include a psychiatric dimension somehow. I don't know. Is that reasonable? And not a government psychiatrist.
What's the first step, or one of the first steps, to get this thing back on track?
The voting booth.
Meaning we've fixed voting that didn't need fixing?
No, we've elected the wrong people, and the wrong people have taken over politics.
Yeah. But that still doesn't solve our problem with the.
But it would help. It would help.
Well, good luck in this town.
This state is pretty much ruined, and you got a governor and a legislature to thank for it, and city councils and 2 mayors. It's a dreadful, dreadful situation. Too much insanity has been normalized, mainstreamed, accepted. Don't you judge. Why shouldn't I judge? People judge every day. We just don't judge anymore on the stuff we should be judgmental about.
Yeah, people are afraid to say, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
That's the problem.
Now, there was a divorce in this lunatic's family. I don't know what role that played, if any. We're at a loss to understand how this fellow could have flowered into such a thorough lunatic.
Yeah, the divorce dynamic, I think, is different in every single family.
Yeah, I'm just mentioning it because more and more about his past is coming up. Spent 2 years at St. Thomas Academy.
Saw that. Not happy about that.
Then he it's 2 years at Holy Angels?
I do not know where he went after that. I know he left St. Thomas Academy.
And these kids, they've all been brainwashed. Don't you dare say a thing about somebody else.
He was Bob when he was there, because I did see a picture of him in an old yearbook.
Let's put it this way. If transgenderism is not a sign of mental illness, is it not at least a point worth examining?
Say that again?
If transgenderism, if your kid comes to you and says, my name is Bob, but from now on I want you to call me Roberta. I'm a girl. If that in itself is not mental illness, okay, I'll go with you there. If that's not mental illness, then isn't it at least a starting off point for serious introspective discussions with your child and possibly getting some help to understand why he feels that way? And I'm not saying that wasn't done in this case. For all I know, that family exhausted their resources.
Not only a parent, but a therapist before you get any kind of hormone therapy.
You don't get a drug or a shot without help.
Or a knife. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, without a lot of therapy beforehand.
You know this fruitcake lieutenant governor we got who isn't worth her salt, Peggy Flanagan, wears a shirt in defense of transgenderism that has a knife on it.
Wore it. She didn't wear it. You made it sound like she wore it yesterday.
Oh, not yesterday.
Yeah.
But she's been photographed with
Right.
her phony smile. I love trans or protect trans or whatever the hell it says.
Protect trans kids.
Yeah, with a knife on it. A knife.
Yeah, that's not good.
These are sick people. She's a sick human being. Peggy Flanagan is, you know what she is? Legitimized lunacy.
Morally bankrupt.
Legitimized lunacy. Mainstreamed lunacy in your lieutenant governor.
If a child comes to you and says, I'm gay, accept it. Yep. Okay. Good luck to you. If they come and say, I want to transition, that's not just.
What did you say when your kid did that?
I said, well, let's work on some things here. Go out and have a steak or something. I can change.
I think gay is different than transgender.
That's what I'm saying. There's a distinction there.
Thank you.
That you're just, okay, we can deal with
Well,
that.
I mean, I think it is.
Transition, you're right. You have to ask some questions. What's going on?
What do you mean? What do you mean you want to be Roberta? What are you talking about?
Why do you want to be a girl? You can
No,
have
we're not
them-
done talking here, Bob.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It would never end. Your job would make sure that was taken care of properly.
Yeah.
Joe, what if your kid came to you and said, Dad, I want to be a traffic reporter?
I'd say prepare for a life of poverty, son, and
disappointment.
and tears, and sometimes even irrational raging and lashing out at your coworkers and behaving in such a way that they never know which Kenny will show up.
Joe, will you be my dad?
Who's your daddy?
I could have
Who's
used
your daddy?
you. Could have used you a long time ago.
He's got enough kids, believe me.
What's the old Mark Twain saying? At 17, I was embarrassed at how stupid my father was.
Yeah.
By the time I was 23, I was amazed at how smart he'd gotten.
Yeah.
Now, let's take a time out, okay?
You know what this just tells me? We are nuts.
Boy, are
You
we
are.
ever.
And the whole world is
The
nuts.
whole world is nuts.
Where can I get good nuts, though?
I want nuts to eat, though.
How about the state fair? Stop by the is it Heritage Square? Is that what we call it?
Heritage
I
Square,
call
yeah.
it the Teen Center.
You go over there, over by the teen center.
That's what it was.
Okay,
You know
all
what it was? Teen Land.
Got it.
Back in 66.
Like the women's section is now variety.
All of that applies to this ad I'm trying to do for We Are Nuts and We Are
The
Nuts.
Nuts guys know this.
Absolutely.
Mr. Nut is my age.
Go check out the big deal. It's the brand new State Fair only special for We Are Nuts. That's over there in their booth, right by the Blue Barn, over there on Heritage Square. And you know what? If you're not able to make it to the State Fair, check them out. You can see them at Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores, Max Hardware, Lunds and Byerly's, and also Kowalski's. It's a wonderful family-owned operation that makes the best handcrafted snacks right here in the great state of Minnesota, over there in Minneapolis. And you know what? I've convinced many people, John Hyde included, about the maple bourbon toffee almonds. It's a fantastic snack, Joe, to wind down the day. You don't need that bowl of ice
Wind
cream.
her down.
You want those almonds. Maybe put the almonds in your ice cream. I don't care. I'm not here to judge. I am not here to judge. But you can also place your order online at wearenutsmn.com. And when you do so, please mention that you heard about them right here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Yeah.
Truth, justice, and the Souchere.
I don't know how much easier they could make it for you. You can rent to own, or you can buy. 3 great ways to get a shipping storage container delivered to your door from anywaystorage.com. If you need secure storage, they can help. They can help with a wide variety of shipping containers. By the way, you don't have to actually use them for storage. You can stick your mother-in-law out there, put a door in it, maybe a window, maybe 2 windows.
How about a tray where you slide the meal through?
That would be
You know,
even
a
better.
little slot, a little slot.
You know, they can do a lot of modifications. I'm going to ask him if you can do like a prisoner slot for
slide the
trays of
thing
food.
back and slide her mush.
Doors, windows, roll-up doors, whatever. You can use it for what it's designed for, though. Safe, secure, rodent-free storage. Anywaystorage.com, they have locations all over the state. Grand Rapids, Stewartville, Ellendale. That means that we're covered. And even the eastern part of the Dakotas and southern Canada, Iowa, Wisconsin. 10, 20, and 40 footers, sealed, lockable, perfect for folks that need storage. Who is that? Anybody that garage is too small. Maybe you're on a farm. Maybe you're a Boy Scout leader and you're worried about your stuff getting ripped off. Put it in there. Contractors love these things on job sites. Many, many ways to use your storage container. Check out the website, then make plans to acquire your very own secure storage shipping container. You can do it by phone. You can do it by person. Like I said, they make it really easy. Anywaystorage.com.
May I, before John starts, may I applaud the Star Tribune, which I rarely do.
Oh.
Do you still have the front page anywhere?
No,
I know you tore it up. But they got their headline right. Maybe it was accident, but they got
I did see that, yeah.
something about evil.
Evil. This
And
is
that's,
evil.
That's what this was.
Yep.
And that's evil isn't acknowledged enough in this country. They got it right. Evil. I wish I had the newspaper
This
in front
is
of me.
evil.
It was a quote from a witness. This is evil.
Okay, this is evil, but that was the right headline.
And to the point where they even sent out a social media tweet last night previewing that this is what was going to be tomorrow's paper headline.
You know, we haven't necessarily normalized evil, but it's part of the dynamic of normalizing lunacy. When you normalize lunacy, you're going to end up with evil. Right, Johnny Height in your newsroom?
Sure.
All right.
I will bet you want news now, don't you?
Yes.
This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Annunciation Catholic Church, school and church will be closed for the rest of the week after that shooting yesterday. 9 victims of the shooting remained at HCMC in Minneapolis this morning, including 5 children. 1 child remains in critical condition, 1 adult and 1 child in serious condition. 1 patient had already been discharged, and HCMC officials hoped another 1 or 2 would go home today. Several vigils were held around the Twin Cities last night as community members continued to grieve the attack. Archbishop Bernard Hebda says condolences have come in from around the world, including from Pope Leo. The Basilica of St. Mary's says it will hold an ecumenical and interfaith prayer service for the Annunciation Catholic School tragedy tonight at 5:30. Minneapolis created an Annunciation Response Fund, with the Minneapolis Foundation establishing a text-to-donate line. Anyone who wants to donate to support the victims can text ACF1 to 41444. The Uvalde Foundation for Kids has launched a national initiative to provide financial support for the families of the 2 kids who were killed at Annunciation. The funds will help with burial, memorial, and general expenses for the families. Governor Tim Walz and President Donald Trump have both ordered flags at half-staff across the state and the rest of the country. The FBI says they're investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and hate crime targeting Catholics.
I can't speak for the families who lost children, but it would be my intuition that the last thing on their mind right now is money.
Yeah. Meanwhile, officials this morning identified the man who died from midday gunfire earlier this week near Lake Street in Minneapolis. That shooting also wounded 6 others. 35-year-old Gregory Doyle Sweeten was killed from a gunshot wound to the head from a rifle early Tuesday afternoon on Clinton Avenue South, just north of East Lake Street. Police Chief Brian O'Hara said 2 people have been arrested in connection with helping in the shooting, although the shooter remains at large. Charges against the 2 have yet to be filed as of this morning. From the Pioneer Press, with family at her side, St. Paul City Council's newest member, Molly Coleman, took the oath of office yesterday at City Hall. Coleman said her predecessor, Council President Mitra Jalali, had set a high bar for progressive leadership and that she had, in her words, very big shoes to fill.
Progressive leadership is what's leading us down the wrong road.
Progressively getting worse.
What has gotten better with progressive leadership? What? Name me something. What? Oh, being non-judgmental's gotten better.
Fraud.
Trans benefits.
Fraud's got better.
Yeah.
Better treatment of trans.
Shootings have increased. Theft is okay from a drugstore. What's gotten better with progressivism? Would somebody explain to me? I'll be glad to be converted. What's better? I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Thanks. In a brief speech after her swearing in, she outlined what she said were the main reasons she decided to run. Quote, the first, I love the city of St. Paul. The second, I believe that we have a duty to build an economically just city. And third, I believe that we have an obligation to build a functional democracy. Coleman is the daughter of former St. Paul Mayor Chris Coleman, representing Ward 4, which includes Hamlin Midway, Merriam Park, St. Anthony Park, and parts of McAllister, Groveland, and Como. Harvard Law School graduate and founder of the progressive court reform nonprofit People's Parity Project, won in an August 12th special election with 52% of the vote. Since her share of the vote exceeded the 50% mark, St. Paul's ranked choice voting process did not kick in. The Ward 4 seat was open after Jalali left the council in March.
What does economic justice mean to a progressive?
I don't know what that means.
A federal judge has thrown out a lawsuit that tried to stop a ban on so-called forever chemicals in Minnesota. The chemicals, known as PFAS, are no longer allowed in products like cookware, carpets, and cosmetics, thanks to a state law that went into effect in January. Days after that law took effect, the Cookware Sustainability Alliance filed a lawsuit that argued the measure discriminates against out-of-state commerce. The judge rejected that argument, saying the law applies equally to manufacturers in and out of Minnesota, and dismissed the lawsuit. And a pair of Minnesota pharmacists are suing the state and Walgreens, claiming they were punished for declining to dispense drugs that caused abortions or facilitate gender transition. The lawsuit, filed by the Upper Midwest Law Center, says both pharmacists have deep religious objections to dispensing those types of prescriptions and had colleagues fill them for years. However, they claim that Walgreens recently told them that religious accommodations violated Minnesota law. Walgreens subsequently fired one of the pharmacists and sharply reduced the other's hours, according to the filing. The Board of Pharmacy administers these types of administrative rules, which Walgreens relied on, according to the lawsuit. The pharmacists are seeking to have the court force Minnesota to account for conscientious objections, professional judgment, and practical considerations in its laws, claiming it currently violates both state and federal free exercise protections.
Before you go to break, Johnny, it's been a frustrating morning. I can't play anything from this computer. And one of the things I did want to play was, I don't know if you guys caught this last night, but Fox 9 aired the 15-minute or the vigil last night that they were holding near Annunciation. They were holding
That
it
was
for,
at Holy Angels, I believe.
okay, so they were airing it for about 15 minutes, and Randy Meyer cut away because it basically turned into a Democrat-led political rally about gun control and things like that. And Randy even said that as they cut away from the feed. I was going to try to play it,
Good for you.
but I can't play anything. I thought, bravo, Randy Meyer. That was, bravo.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a quick...
Hold on. That has a tendency to... Didn't that happen at Wellstone's funeral?
Kenny,
Yes.
that's the exact same type of feeling you get when you watch that.
That's
like
Governor
nothing-
Ventura walked out of there.
Nothing was about the kids, the families. It was just all about guns and guns and guns.
What about George?
Well, that kid shouldn't have owned guns,
I
that's
agree,
for sure.
but-
What about the George Floyd funeral? Did that turn political or not?
Yes. I've got some George Floyd remarks, but not until John is done.
Got it.
I'm actually going to take a break now and send it to our friend, Mr. Mikulski.
Thank you,
I never
John.
use that name, so let me
that's,
send it to the rookie instead.
And it was pronounced properly, so thank you very much for that. We are talking about society, and we do need some help in society. And you know what? On Garage Logic, the Minnesota Masonic Charities knows exactly what to do, and that is turn things around. Right now, Minnesota's Freemasons are doing their great job donating millions of dollars annually to support cancer research, healthy aging studies, and children's communication disorders, just to name a few things that they do. The Freemasons throughout Minnesota, they're working together to make the world a better place, focusing on core values, authentic friendship, personal growth, and helping those in need. If you want to learn more, there's a website, mnfreemasons.org. Also, they have something called the Masonic Civility Project. Now, they just had one last Monday in Red Wing, and they're going to be doing some more things. The Civility Project is aimed at rediscovering the power of respect, empathy, and connection. The initiative invites the next generation to claim civility through real conversations, timeless etiquette, and building community. If you want to learn more about the next Civility Project, check them out online, mnmasoniccharities.org, and then there's a / Civility Project, not civility, mnmasoniccharities.org / Civility Project. Thank you.
Here's a guy.
Yep.
You got her.
It's the end.
Coming.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
I'm working my way through my 6th bag of French roast from customroasting.net. And you know what? I'm going to ask you guys to do a comparison test. If you're drinking coffee like I was from that company out in Seattle, and I defended them, and I loved their coffee. And I didn't realize that their coffee was garbage until I opened up this French roast from customroasting.net. It's so smooth and so delightful. And I've learned actually a lot about coffee, a lifelong coffee drinker. I learned that don't dump your coffee into a Tupperware container, especially with custom roasting. It's better.
Who would do that?
I did that.
Oh.
That's something I would do. And I figure since I do it, everybody does it.
Yeah.
I wonder who, do we know anybody like that?
No, didn't rain in my house.
It's better to leave your coffee from custom roasting in the bag. It comes with a very heavy-duty Ziploc seal that's going to keep it fresher longer. And when you get your bag, you're going to notice that little thingamajig on the side. That's a one-way relief valve, because after roasting coffee, the beans release a gas. That valve allows those gases to escape without letting any air in. Go to the website, customroasting.net. You'll see the GL tab. You'll see our sampler package. It has the French roast, the Boundary Waters, the Morning Blend, and the Columbia Excelsior. I've had all of them. Each one is wonderful, but let me tell you, that French roast, whoo. Get on that website and order it in today, customroasting.net.
May I have fanfare? Thank you.
Okay, Radar.
Dominic Pierre, come on down.
Let's go. Price is right.
G-Eller of the week, Dominic Pierre of Maplewood, Minnesota, wins the Masters Maple gift pack.
Why do you always miss the last S?
Masters Maples?
Maples.
Oh, Master. Is it Master?
You said it like Clem. That'd be Master Maple.
Master Maple.
Master Maple.
It's Masters Maples.
There you go.
2 S's.
That's right.
Masters
Well,
Maples.
technically 3.
And Dominic Pierre of Maplewood, Minnesota, you please read on Thursday's pod.
We're like a Dominic
Here is
Spear.
the G-Eller of the week, Dominic Pierre of Maplewood, Minnesota. Congratulations, Dominic. You want a shipping address?
Nope. Don't give that on the show.
And that's great. You get the syrup and the seasonings. And,
the seasonings are fabulous.
It's wonderful stuff, Dominic. Thank you very much.
We'd like to happy congratulations to Dominic Pierre's.
I want a name like Dominic Pierre.
Hey,
It's a nice name.
I mean, John Height is just silly.
It's
Pretty lame,
so
yeah.
German, isn't
Doesn't
it?
do anything for
very
me.
Germanic, yes. Very
Precise.
In national and international news, Russia pounded Ukraine with deadly missiles and drone strikes early today with a sweeping attack that President Vladimir Zelensky said was Moscow's answer to diplomatic efforts to end the war. At least 18 people, including 4 children, killed in the capital. As the sun rose, rescuers dug through a wrecked block of Kyiv's left bank and pulled at least 2 bodies from the rubble. The strikes damaged the European Union's mission and British Council offices in the city. The European Union in London summoned Russian envoys to protest. There were no reports of casualties at those 2 sites. Russia said its attack had hit military, industrial facilities and air bases, and that Ukraine had also attacked Russian targets. The Kremlin said it was still interested in pursuing peace talks. Chaos and disarray at the CDC. The Trump administration said it fired the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention yesterday. That is Susan Menares, just hours after she refused to resign under pressure. All of this comes only a month after she was confirmed for the position. Her attempted firing prompted a leadership exodus from the CDC, including at least 4 top officials from the organization. A statement from Menares accused Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. of weaponizing public health for political gain and putting millions of American lives at risk by purging health officials from the U.S. government. After the statement about her firing, 4 other senior career officials at the CDC resigned, including the chief medical officer and deputy director for the program in science, Deb Houry, the director of the National Center for Emergent and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases, Dan Jernigan, director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, Dimitri Daskalis, And they sent emails to colleagues Wednesday night informing them they'd submitted their resignations, each mentioning changing policies at the CDC.
When you're discussing the normalization of lunacy, it doesn't help to have Trump as president. Thank you.
Okay.
Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook has sued the Trump administration in an effort to overturn the president's attempt to fire her, launching an unprecedented legal battle that could significantly reshape the Fed's longstanding political independence. No president has tried to fire a Fed governor in the institution's 112-year history until Trump posted a letter to his Truth social media platform late Monday saying that Cook was fired. Trump said the reason for her removal were allegations she committed mortgage fraud in 2021. The Supreme Court has signaled the president can't fire Fed officials over policy differences, but he can do so for cause, usually meaning misconduct or neglect of duty. Most legal experts say that a for-cause removal requires some type of process that would allow Cook to respond to the charges, and that hasn't happened yet. Cook has not been charged with any crimes.
He's doing everything to capitalism that people would bitch about if Biden did it. He's trying to take control of it himself.
The U.S. economy rebounded this spring from a first-quarter downturn due to fallout from President Trump's trade wars. In an upgrade from its first estimate in July, the Commerce Department said today U.S. gross domestic product, the nation's output of goods and services, expanded at a 3.3% annual pace from April through June, after shrinking 0.5% in the first 3 months. Even with the upward revision, private investment dropped at a 13.8% annual pace from April through June. That would be the biggest drop since the second quarter of 2020 at the height of the coronavirus pandemic. A reduction in private inventories cut almost 3.3 percentage points off second quarter GDP growth. President Trump is rebranding his big signature legislative achievement. He said during a cabinet meeting this week in the White House, he's no longer referring to the new law as One Big Beautiful Bill, the name he coined that was turned into the bill's formal title as it advanced. He says the law's name isn't helping with the White House sales pitch. He said, so the bill, I'm not going to use that term anymore. That was good for getting it approved, but it's not good for explaining to people what it's about. He said it will now be called a massive tax cut for the middle class. The new law also increases spending on immigration enforcement and the military and includes deep spending reductions to Medicaid that Democrats and some Republicans are strongly criticizing.
John, I thought for sure you were going to say he now calls it Cracker Barrel.
The Atlanta Journal-Constitution will stop publishing a print newspaper at the end of the year.
The end of the world as we know it.
The company has published in print since 1868.
My goodness.
Great newspaper at one time.
Journal-Constitution, one of the largest daily newspapers yet to completely abandon print. Local newspapers, of course, have faced declines in circulation for the last 20 years. Much of the advertising revenue has long ago moved to online platforms. But most major American cities continue to have some version of a print newspaper, in part because the print editions often remain profitable, at least for now, unlike the online operations of many outlets. About a third of the country's more than 1,000 remaining daily newspapers still print 7 days a week, according to a 2024 report on the state of local news by Northwestern University. Many others have reduced their print frequency to cut costs. The same study found that about 180 newspapers that had once printed daily now put out newspapers fewer than 3 days a week.
Possible permission to approach the bench for a possible ray of hope, sir.
You in the back.
Our guy Mike Fratelloni had a very interesting thought about this. He thinks papers aren't going to become what they once were, obviously.
They already haven't.
But they might have somewhat of a comeback. And you want to know why?
Why?
Because AI is going to become so incessant on the internet and social media that nothing online is going to be believable anymore, and that the only trusted source of information is going to become print journalism.
Boy, I hope that'd be quite a shift, wouldn't it?
Interesting.
Okay, I need advice from you,
Here I
Mr.
am.
Print Master. In recent years, well, in the last year, the Star Tribune has gotten very thin.
Yep.
And the price is now up to $3
Yep.
per, I was going to say episode, per
Issue.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's $4 on Sunday.
And John has got me hooked on going online, and there's a version online that looks exactly like the newspaper. Why should I keep paying $3 a day when I've got it online and I can print the story I want, as opposed to, show this mess
Tearing
to the
it up?
This is what I do every day. I tear the newspaper up.
I just think that becomes.
Why should I?
You don't. It becomes a personal choice. I prefer to hold the paper in my hand and rather than read it on a screen. But if you want to read it on a screen, I have no complaints.
Do you try to tear it up on the screen, or do you leave it alone?
I wish I could.
Okay.
It's a habit because it took me a while. Once I went to both those versions of the Wall Street Journal, well, every paper I read, I went to those online versions, and it took me a good month.
I'm set in my ways. I got to have a newspaper in my hand.
I understand.
John, he
completely.
came in here when I was in here today. He goes, I forgot my newspaper at home. Can I have yours? And I gave him like 10.
The scraps.
just 10
All I got was cut up pieces of paper.
Paper mache.
Kenny, you know what could answer that question? You should save that for Monday at about 1:35 when your guy sits in that chair, and you can ask him, how come that sports page is so thin these days? And let him just go.
It's only 4 pages.
Let him go off.
It's a shame. I'm not big on the sports pages, but they don't cover anything anymore.
And they have a building.
Yeah. Are they sending reporters out at all?
Not as often and as many as in the day.
Yeah.
Is no one
I'm
at
sure
this?
a reporter will be going to Vikings games. I'm sure they still have a guy in the Twins beat.
But they sent Royce to the Daytona 500, the
That's
Indy
when we
500.
had money.
Yeah.
Hell, I went to, I covered stuff. I covered a snowmobile race.
They were looking for ways to spend money.
Yeah, we had our own plane.
Yeah. Wow.
Does no one at this table of plenty inquire in the least about my newspaper habits, whether they're electronic or?
No, because you don't even read the newspaper either way.
We
that's
all
accurate.
know
That's
you
accurate.
get all your news from The View.
The View. What do you need to know? They're always on topic. They're
John, I don't think you're done yet, are
They
you?
condense it for you and deliver
Yes,
it.
thank you.
Denmark's foreign minister summoned the top U.S. diplomat in Copenhagen for a meeting yesterday. All of this comes after reports that at least 3 Americans tied to President Trump were conducting covert influence operations in Greenland. According to Danish government sources, the unnamed Americans have gathered info and pursued contacts to undermine Greenlanders' perceptions of Denmark. The Danish foreign minister previously summoned the acting American ambassador over reports that U.S. spy agencies were engaging in similar efforts. It's unclear if the individuals are acting independently or under the president's direction. The president, as we know, has proposed annexing the semi-autonomous Danish territory, strategically located in the Arctic Circle and rich in rare earth elements critical to emergent technologies. A January opinion poll showed 85% of Greenlanders oppose joining the U.S., although 56% support independence from Denmark, which has exercised some control over Greenland since the early 18th century. Meanwhile, at least one Republican congressman doesn't like any of this. He says the administration should not be doing it. Representative Don Bacon posted on X after hearing the news, if these allegations are true, this behavior is, quote, really dumb. Greenland and Denmark are allies. They've always been willing to have more U.S. bases and rare earth mining cooperation. Pressure from the U.S. is unnecessary, and in fact, it's harmful.
Thank you, John.
Uh-huh.
Why don't we take a time out?
You know who you can trust? My
Who?
friends at North American Banking
I
Company.
would hope so. They're a bank.
Because one philosophy runs that operation, Joe.
What's that?
Banking done differently.
Okay.
They don't want to treat you like a number. Do you want to treat you? You know what? You couldn't even draw number 8 if you wanted to.
No, I can't.
So that's why they treat you differently at North American Banking Company.
9 is getting to be a problem, too.
Anything with a loop?
Anything with a circle.
Are the 3s hanging in there?
No, 3s are trouble.
Oh, boy. Well, maybe you can turn your attention to my friends at North American Banking
If
Company.
they can write it all for me.
They could do it all right there for you. Bang, bang, boom.
Yeah.
Customer service is the best with North American Banking Company, and you get that experience anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations, whether it's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, or Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks. It doesn't matter whether you're looking to buy a home, maybe finance a new home renovation project, or perhaps get that new car that you've been dreaming about and you're trying to hide it from your wife. My friends at North American Banking Company are going to be able to help you out. And they do also offer all of the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the key difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. So your first step can be checking them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. It's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. I do. I do want to be.
I can't find it. Here it is.
Here's a guy.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move.
Fall
Joe
is the-
Souchere.
Whoa, sorry. Didn't mean to step on you, Ben. Fall is the best time of year. I'm going to say something here. Might get some pushback. Fall is even better than spring.
Sacrilege.
No. That's how I feel, and I will not apologize.
You must be silenced.
Fall is also one of the best times to plant shrubs, trees, and perennials. That's where professionalturf.com comes in. Perfect for root development. You don't have to wait for plants to leaf out, and it's perfect in the fall. And this is when you should put that Pro Turf team, that landscape team, to work, reinvigorating. Did I say that right? I've had a problem with words today.
Reinvigorating. I'm not the guy to ask.
Let's get that outdoor environment of yours fixed up. That's what I meant to say. These are professional designs by certified designers, and it can be anything from simple to extremely complicated. They can do it all. Paver patios, retaining walls, plant beds, trees, shrubs. Did I just say trees? I did say trees. There's a special running right now with Pro Turf. Get either a free 6-foot Colorado spruce or a 2-inch sugar maple tree with any project of over $4,000 or more. It's a value of $650. Nothing to shake a tree branch at, but it's a limited time offer, only good until they run out. Go to professionalturf.com. Log on right now. Turn this dumb show off and log on. Wait, no.
Whoops.
Keep the show on. Wait till we're done. Then log on to professionalturf.com.
I have a question that every citizen of Minnesota should be asking, particularly in the metro. Could the progressive politicians we've elected, could they please tell us how life has improved in the Twin Cities? Let's just shorten the timeline. Let's just go the last 5 years.
Okay.
All right. Jason Chavez, how is Minneapolis better? How is the quality of life more enjoyable and more peaceful and safer since you've become a council person? Chugtai, Aisha Chugtai, could you tell us, how has your progressivism resulted in a better life for all citizens? Because all I'm seeing from progressivism is the normalization of lunacy. That's all I can. And you think that's virtuous. You think postmodernism is virtuous. Everyone's the same. Everyone's the same. Everyone's okay. You have no right to judge anything. How has life improved? The least diverse city council in America in St. Paul. Could you please explain to the residents of St. Paul how life is better in St. Paul? Could anyone do that?
I know what they'll do, Joe.
And I want Chavez in here, and you keep failing miserably to get him, Reavers.
I've made attempts.
I know, but that's not enough. You have failed.
But okay, let's pause a moment because I get emails about this very thing all the time. It's one thing if someone is willing to come on the show.
you go knock on his door.
Oh yeah, that won't get me arrested.
I love how you blame Reavers instead of just the whole show in general. They're not
Reavers,
coming
come
in here,
on.
Joe. They're afraid of you.
Oh, that's BS.
They disagree with you. They don't want to talk with anybody they disagree with.
That's
How about
exactly right.
Isn't that a nice question, though? Jason, glad to have you here. Could you please explain to us how your presence has helped improve life in Minneapolis?
Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for inviting me. I'm going to follow the lead of our representatives and senators and governors and say that we are a sanctuary city for illegals. That's an improvement. We have abortion rights. That's an improvement. We're a sanctuary for trans kids that want to go under the knife and change their gender. That's an improvement. We used to give out a lot of free money. Unfortunately, it's not happening anymore.
You got caught, right?
But if you vote for me, I promise the free flow of money will continue under my watch. It's going to be some nonsense like that, Joe.
It's just an eternal puzzle to me that you have nothing to offer.
By the way, Jason, I just made all of that up on the spot. You could do the
That was
same
pretty
thing.
damn good.
Come on in, man.
Chugtai, Aisha Chugtai. They have no answer. How has life improved?
You know what? And you asked this. What do you say? There's no measurement for accomplishment. I'm paraphrasing you, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's no way to measure that. They think it's been an improvement.
They do, and they're wrong. Now, I have something that you might want to worry about, just to take your mind off the worry of the fact that we've mainstreamed lunacy. I've kept my eye on this. I've kept my eye on
Okay.
this interstellar object,
You are Brian Doyle Murray, aren't you?
which keeps getting closer and closer to Earth. This unidentified large object, which appears to be zeroing in on our mother, the Earth. We now know that it's spewing a metal unlike anything we've seen in natural comets. We got Harvard physicists involved in this because Harvard is the answer. Avi Loeb highlighted this anomaly in a new study, and he thinks what this thing is made of is a hallmark of industrial production of nickel alloys, meaning at the factory somewhere out yonder in the universe, this was made by people or beings or whatever they are. Is this anomaly another clue for a possible technological origin of 31 Atlas? Loeb wrote. His paper suggests that chemical formation occurs through the nickel carbonyl channel, an extremely rare process in comments, but a standard technique in industrial nickel refining. So this thing's bearing down on us, and it's full of the hallmarks of something that has been traditionally and industrially created. And we're all going to melt or die or get, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen when it hits here. Maybe it'll stop just short, and it'll be that guy I've been looking for. That one being that gets to slide the door open with a megaphone and tell us you're all screwed up.
Dang it, Kenny.
You
Did you bring it?
You people are broken.
It's in the truck.
Oh, okay.
You people are broken. Get your act together, or the next time I come down here, there'll be hell to pay.
The dagger famously found in Tutankhamun's tomb has a blade made of meteoric iron.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I can't talk today. I don't know what it is.
You're
I
in
think
studio.
I think it's being
You know what you're doing? Your voice sounds so good in studio. You're listening to yourself. You're trying to catch up to yourself.
May I interject?
I got to go back home.
May I interject?
Yes, please.
That what you've done is just corroborate Mr. Loeb's findings
Yeah.
at Harvard.
Yeah.
He is saying this thing I'm observing and studying as it draws closer is not from a comet. Back in the day when they made this stuff for the pyramids, that's all they had to work with was comet stuff. You know, they didn't have an industry. They didn't have a smelt.
Right.
You know, they had no mines. So they didn't know nickel from a hole in the head. So they made stuff out of comets that fell on the ground.
You should write a book.
Yeah, that's it. And now Loeb at Harvard saying this ain't no comet.
Yeah.
This here's some nickel.
This ain't no disco.
This ain't no fooling around.
Fooling around.
This is the stuff of nickel. And that means they got some workers somewhere that slapped this baby together, and here she comes.
Let's go.
Now,
Wait a minute. Why did it leave the planet they were on? Now, was this like me with an old tire? I just roll her down the hill and into the swamp and it disappears forever?
no. Well, you raise another interesting question. How advanced can the inventors of this thing be if it's taken them so long to get here? Wouldn't they have this speed thing figured out? I mean, it take us 20 years to get
Joe,
there.
Hyperspeed.
When I throw plastic in the Mississippi, I don't care when it hits New
Don't
Orleans.
throw plastic in the Mississippi.
I know eventually it's going to hit New Orleans.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I tell you, he does not throw plastic into the Mississippi.
It's tires.
He's very environmentally conscientious, and tires. You're right, tires, but not plastic.
What did happen is I was crossing the Mississippi in a canoe with all of my firearms.
Yep.
I tipped over. They all went to the bottom. I don't own any guns.
Okay. Okay. What else did I want? There's nothing more to be said. We have legitimized.
I'm already packed up here.
Yeah, we have sanitized lunacy, and for the rest of us, that means we got to figure out how to not make guns available to lunatics.
Is he doing the recap for you already?
Don't have an answer. Only because they come to us from the traveling Lymans, who are in a
camper.
No, they're in a beautiful place. You can see it on worldwidewaftage.com. They're in a park, Marloth Park in Mpumalanga, South Africa. They have animals that come right up to the porch.
Love that.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Right. Well, it was on this day.
Man, it's already August 28th.
It was
Wow.
my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday.
MH.
And it was Mick's birthday. It's Mick's, too.
Happy
I got a Mick whose
Mick,
birthday
happy.
it is.
Well, we don't do birthdays.
No.
Shoot.
It was on this day
August 28th.
in I'd tell you how old my mother would be, but I don't know what year she was born.
Fail.
Which unit is she in up there?
Yeah, she's up
She's
there.
dead right now.
No, when you went to
thank
go
you.
see her at the apartment.
She was up there.
The guy was going to let him in. Hey, what unit is she in?
Exactly. You can get there.
He looks blankly back at him and with mouth agape.
I
She's
know
up on
where
the
she
second
is.
floor.
I got her
Out there.
cigarette delivery. I got to get up there
Like
with her
right next to
Virginia
the
Slim.
stairway. You know,
She's
it's
up
right
there.
up
I'll
there.
find
I'll
it.
find her.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I know
Follow
who
the
she's next to.
Follow the smell of
Yes.
the Virginia Slims.
Yeah. On this day,
August 28th.
in 1857, the one-day Cornstalk War occurred between a group of 6 Ojibwe and the St. Paul Light Cavalry Company, which had been summoned after reports of thefts. See, back then, theft was illegal.
Yeah.
Each side lost one man after exchanging shots in a cornfield near Sunrise. I think Sunrise is up Chisago way.
Was Corn Woman there?
I'll look it up.
Boy, that lady last week at the fair reminded me, Matt, of Corn
I know
Woman.
she did.
I know.
She
You
had the
remember
straw
Corn
hat. Oh, yeah,
Woman.
I remember. She would have worn what that lady was
I'm going to
wearing.
disconnect your microphone.
The look in her eyes.
Did I go away?
Let's go here.
But the gal is standing there innocently, just
Yeah.
minding her own
Yeah.
business, watching the show, and all of a sudden she is the
Bam.
laser focus
spotlight.
of Suge.
On this day,
August 28th.
in 1883, Jacob A.O. Pruss was born in Wisconsin.
I don't know who that
Founder
is.
of the Lutheran Brotherhood Fraternal Society, he served as state governor from 1921 to 1925. He died on May 24, 1961.
Oh, long life.
On this day,
August 28th.
in 1977,
Come on.
Lake City's Ralph Samuelson. Who was he?
He played
Ralph
for Virginia.
He
Samuelson.
was a farm reporter.
He's a basketball guy.
Attaboy, Rook.
What did he say?
He's a basketball
He
guy.
was the
Played for
father
Virginia.
of water skiing.
Oh.
Lake City.
Lake City's Ralph Samuelson, the father of water skiing, died. In 1922, Samuelson had successfully tested water skis on Lake Pepin, having fashioned skis by boiling and curving the tips of boards purchased at a local lumber yard. He was out there trying to ski around on dock planks.
On a log.
Look out, here he comes.
Each one weighs 30
Yeah.
pounds.
Can you slalom?
On this day in sports
Not on
disappointment,
purpose.
August 28.
sports disappointment history, this date.
August 28.
In 1976, the Kicks lost the North American Soccer League Championship to Toronto 3-0.
Wow.
That was a disappointment.
I have your answer, sir. Sunrise is north and east of North Branch.
I was close.
Yeah, dangerously close to the St. Croix.
Yeah, I was close.
And was it Ralph Sampson?
Samuelson.
No, the basketball guy.
Oh, I don't care about him. This day in history had to do with Ralph Samuelson, the father of water skiing. He had 2 dock planks strapped to his feet, and he wore ski boots, I think. And he sunk a few times, but they brought him back to
got
the
him.
surface, and he
Planks.
dock planks. Yeah. Thank you. Is there another show coming up today?
Yeah, there is. And let's
Well,
wrap,
what's the hurry here?
Let's wrap this
Hey.
up with the big plug for the Garage
Come on
Logic
in,
YouTube
Pat.
channel. And also, by the way,
This
on that
ain't
YouTube
Friday.
channel, you can watch the show each and every single day,
Not
starting
today.
right at noon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you
Anyway.
could watch the show today. We just had.
But it's going to be like in
doesn't
one
matter.
of those old Chinese movies where the audio is going to be off by half a second. But, Father, it is time to clean the garage.
I'm going to do this to Rookie right now so I can wrap up this
It's
show.
like that anyway.
Oh, wait,
And you
one
can
more annoyance.
also
One more.
Oh, my God. I'm
No,
done.
this is a great point.
That's great.
The Kelsey Swift engagement this is from Brian Maturi, is the most proof yet to my theory that the NFL is morphing into a reality TV show.
There you
That's
go.
true.
You called
That's
it, Joe.
correct. I did call it years ago.
And make sure you come out and see us live at the Minnesota State Fair tomorrow at 1:15 to 2:15.
Let's have some fun.
At the KSTP building, the Channel 5 building, and the Talk Shop will